Hello, I have something pretty damn exciting to show you today. So it's proof of concept, but nonetheless it is so very cool. I wanted to give myself a little bit of a challenge here. So the other day I asked myself the question, could you, theoretically, recreate the famous Voxel Sniper plugin within vanilla Minecraft? So I gave it some thought and I tested out just a little bit, and the results are actually very surprising. And thus, the Boxel Sniper was born. Now you'll see why I've named it that in a moment, but first let me show you the controls. So we have the potion of slowness and the empty map. So what the slowness potion does is it allows us to select the brush, and the empty map allows us to execute the function. So let me use this, and we're going to press T, and we're going to select brush. So let's say we want to use the red brush, okay? Then we're going to exit out of that, and then we're going to use the empty map. Okay, so now you'll see that we've got this big summoning here. So if we just do that, you'll see a red cube or a red box appears in the world. We can do this again, and we can just keep doing that and make a bit of a structure. So let's do that a couple of times. You can actually also change the colour. So if I go to T and I go on the blue one, okay, and I do that, and I fire it again, we'll actually get a blue box next to it. There we go. Do that again. And let's get a bit of a different colour. Let's try black. Okay. And let's plop that down somewhere. Okay. Now let's say we don't want the black one. Let's change it to the eraser. So if we go into the eraser, get the eraser, select it, and this one will actually cut away the boxes. So we do that. And it will actually cut away a cube of the chunk. And as you can see, in just a matter of moments, I can grief the hell out of this place. So in the wrong hands, this is an extremely dangerous tool. And this is all there is to it. It's pretty damn small if you ask me for something so potent. But let me explain the whole thing at the base of everything. So what we have here is basically an entity. The entity was the thing that I was punching to actually create these massive boulders, and it goes as follows. So at the very base we have one fireball. This is a ghast fireball, and its purpose is basically so we can actually aim, we can hit it, and it will go where we want it to go basically. Now on top of that we have two falling sand entities. At the bottom we have one redstone block, and then above that we have an activator rail. The use of these two I'll explain in one moment. But above those two falling sand entities, we have one inverted slime, and again, I'll explain that in a moment. And at the very top, we have over 120 command carts. Now, each of these command carts has a specific command. They're all set block commands, and basically, they will each set a block relative to the position of the command carts. So these boxes are actually 5 by 5 by 5, that's 125 blocks. So each of these command carts will actually control the placement of each of these individual blocks. So why do you need the activator on the redstone block? Well, basically, for the command carts to actually function, actually do their command, execute the command, they need to have an activator rail. It's kind of annoying, but they have to have it. So they have to have an activator rail to land on to execute the command. And that's why the falling sand are there. Now, the reason the inverted slime is there is basically, the thing with inverted slimes is, when they're in the world, they shouldn't actually exist. And what that means is, if they're not supported by something, if they're not stuck to something in a stack, they will actually just drop out of the world. And anything that's attached to them, i.e. the command carts, will actually drop out of the world with them. So when the two falling sand entities actually convert into blocks, the slime actually no longer has anything that's holding it onto the world. And basically what happens there is the slime just falls out of the world. And the reason I'm doing this is basically 120 command carts is a lot of entities, and if you kept using this, that's going to be a lot of minecarts left over. So basically this gets rid of all those command carts, and it just drops them into the void and gets rid of them. So that's the purpose of the inverted slime. Now, like I said, this is just a concept for the time being. To actually compare it to the Voxel Sniper is laughable. However, I do think it has some potential. Let me show you this. If I just plop this command down, I put the command into that, use a button there and do that. I actually have one of these entities ready to go, and I can just aim that somewhere there, and the block is placed. So that was really, really easy to do. So here's what I proposition to anyone who may be capable of doing this. I envision a tool. Imagine a tool that basically you just put in what kind of material you want to use and what kind of shape you want it to create. You put that down and it will create a command for you, and then you can just put it in a command block and you can just have at it and be really creative with your big boulders. That would be really, really useful. Not necessarily, like I said, it's never going to really be a replacement for the Voxel Sniper because there are other limitations, but as just a creative tool, just to be able to mass place a load of blocks. You could use it with actual structures. For instance, you could just fire a load of houses everywhere if you wanted to. But yeah, it's got a lot of potential, and I'm very interested to see if anyone's actually capable of doing that, because I think it'd be really, really cool. Finally, I will be providing a map download, as this is very, very fun to play with. It's very satisfying to toss those blocks onto the platform. I'll also try to provide just a raw command, so if you want to just plop it down to a pre-existing world, for whatever reason, if you want to grease your world. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed, because this is actually probably one of my favourite things I've created so far.